Yu Hui initially plans to work with Rao Jing, but Yu Heng knows that Rao Jing is currently partnered with Xiaoning, so he assigns Yu Hui to another colleague. She and Xiaoning have already known each other from their time at the bank. Yu Hui tries to give Xiaoning small tasks, but Xiaoning refuses. Fang Gong notices the tension between the two and observes that Xiaoning doesn't get along with Yu Hui. She invites everyone to a meal to win their favor and deliberately waits for Yu Heng. Xiaoning feels a bit down but follows her colleagues to the restaurant. Yu Hui books a wellness session and Yu Heng sits beside Xiaoning, but Fang Gong tactfully gives up his seat beside Yu Heng to Yu Hui. Yu Hui continues to act politely, even serving Ji some food, which makes Xiaoning uncomfortable. Fang Gong then brings up Xiaoning's past with Lu Sijing. Upon learning that they didn't get along, Fang Gong suggests setting up a blind date for Xiaoning. Already upset with Yu Heng, Xiaoning agrees, which causes Yu Heng to choke in surprise. He then messages Xiaoning, asking her to step outside. He corners her in a private room, confronting her about the blind date and questioning whether she's serious. He asks if she plans to go on the date, and Xiaoning replies that she doesn't want to embarrass others by refusing. Just then, Yu Hui arrives, and Yu Heng has to leave, though Xiaoning feels jealous seeing them together. Fang Gong, now drunk, ends up in Rao Jing's car, and despite her frustration, she has no choice but to drive him home. Yu Heng is waiting for Xiaoning to come out, but since she refuses to give him a ride, he reluctantly leaves with Yu Hui. Xiaoning, hurt and thinking that Yu Hui is Yu Heng's white moonlight, takes a cab home alone. To her surprise, Yu Heng shows up, knowing she's upset, and decides to keep her company. Curious about his ideal type, she asks him what kind of girl he likes. Yu Heng describes a girl with a high ponytail and a bright smile. He then asks Xiaoning about her ideal type, to which she teasingly responds that she'll like whoever he likes. The next day, Fang Gong, who was too drunk to remember who left him at the subway station, learns it was Rao Jing, increasing their tension. He then drags Xiaoning to her blind date, which she initially refuses but eventually agrees to. Just as she's about to leave, she sees Yu Heng having dinner with Yu Hui and a client, which upsets her even more, so she decides to stay for the blind date. Meanwhile, Yu Heng, after taking a bite of the dish Xiaoning likes, decides to have it packed up for her. When he asks the server, he spots Xiaoning and Fang Gong waiting for the blind date. Furious, he demands Fang Gong hand over some documents, forcing him to leave. Yuan then tells Xiaoning to wait for him, but she ignores his messages. He takes the opportunity to step out again, urging Xiaoning not to be mad and promising to join her after dinner. Fang Gong, on his way to meet Xiaoning, encounters a drunk Rao Jing, who has run out of money on her card. He reluctantly pays her tab and ends up taking her home. The atmosphere becomes tense and ambiguous when Rao Jing whispers her address into his ear. After the meal, Yu Heng rushes back to find Xiaoning, but she has already ordered food and left. Feeling down, Xiaoning worries that confronting Ji about his white moonlight might damage their relationship. The next day, in the office, Yu Heng observes everyone busy at work. He then deliberately finds an excuse to reprimand Fang Gong, exchanging glances with Xiaoning. Fang Gong asks Rao Jing if she remembers what happened the previous night, mentioning that she owes him money. She doesn't believe him, but he reveals that he recorded a video as proof of her drunken state. He doesn't plan to delete the video, intending to use it as leverage. However, Fang Gong accidentally drops his phone, and it breaks. Rao Jing offers to pay for the damage. Yu Heng's mentor praises his progress in developing the expansion department, and Yu Heng assures him that he aims to improve its capabilities further. Meanwhile, Chi Yu and Wei finally get some time alone together, but when a housekeeper arrives to clean, she feels awkward. To lighten the mood, she plays a romantic video. He kissed her immediately. She complains about the challenges of their relationship, almost revealing something important, but covers it up with another kiss. Xiaoning feels uneasy seeing Yu Hui despite insisting she doesn't like Yu Heng. However, her actions betray her words. Wei encourages Xiaoning to ask Yu Heng directly about his feelings, but she is too shy, fearing that his white moonlight holds a special place in his heart. Xiaoning, wearing headphones in the study, is surprised when Yu Heng joins her and helps with her studies. Overcome with emotion, she kisses him on the cheek. Sensing her feelings, Yu Heng kisses her back, and they share a passionate moment. Later that night, they chat on the rooftop. Xiaoning admits her recent mood isn't due to her period. Yu Heng, who already knows, reassures her that Yu Hui is just a fellow alumnus. She is happy to learn that Yu Hui isn't his white moonlight after all. As the year draws to a close, everyone in the office is stressed about meeting their targets. During this time, Xiaoning is busy studying at home, and Yuheng takes on all the household chores. Xiaoning shares her hopes of securing a permanent position at work and plans to buy a new bed for her mother when she returns. While looking through Yuheng's drawer, Xiaoning finds a gift-wrapped wedding photo and a diamond ring, which fits her perfectly. Yuheng's mother is about to be discharged from the hospital, and though she worries about imposing on the young couple, Xiaoning insists that she stay with them. She even offers to cook, but when it comes time to prepare fish, she can't bring herself, leaving Yuheng to step in. Xiaoning lacks cooking skills, but fortunately, their parents come over with a prepared meal, saving the day. The family shares a happy dinner, though she feels shy about the couple's closeness. After dinner, Xiaoning and Yuheng help his mother with her medication and prepare for bed. Although he initially offers to sleep on the sofa, Xiaoning suggests that the bed is big enough for both. Both feel awkward about the situation, and she uses studying as an excuse to avoid addressing the tension. That night, Chi-Yu takes Wei-Yi for a bike ride under the stars. Despite doing something simple, she is thrilled. She recalls how she feared they'd never meet again after Chi-Yu returned to his hometown, but is grateful they're together now. As Xiaoning prepares for her exam, her parents video call to encourage her, joined by Wei-Yi, who also wishes her luck. Wei-Yi playfully urges Xiaoning to clarify her relationship with Yuheng just as he walks in, causing her to blush. Embarrassed, she pretends to sleep, but Yuheng kisses her goodnight, urging her to rest well. Soon, Xiaoning takes her qualification exam, knowing she'll be off work after the evening shift. Before leaving work, Fanggong reminds Rao Jing to repay her debt. Their usual bickering continues, and in a final act of revenge, she steps on his foot. That evening, Yuheng takes Xiaoning to a nice restaurant to celebrate. To her surprise, he has already pre-ordered all her favorite dishes. Feeling confident about her exam results, Xiaoning relaxes. During dinner, both families gather, and Yuheng's mother expresses how much life has returned to their home since Xiaoning became a part of it. Meanwhile, Chi-Yu and Wei-Yi watch a breathtaking sunset, and he recalls how she once mentioned the beauty of sunsets and starry skies. Wei-Yi is touched by what he remembers, and she kisses him, calling it the best gift she's ever received. After dinner, Yuheng finally tells Xiaoning he has something important to say. She anticipates a confession but is surprised when he talks about trivial matters instead. Feeling deflated, Xiaoning brushes it off. As midnight approaches, Yuheng and Xiaoning prepare to spend their first New Year's Eve together. He shares that he usually spends it alone and subtly tries to gauge Xiaoning's feelings towards him. When the clock strikes midnight, Xiaoning wishes him a happy new year. Yuheng tells her he likes her, but Xiaoning playfully pretends not to hear him. He repeats it directly in her ear, and they share a kiss. Curious, Xiaoning asks when Yuheng starts liking her. He admits he had planned several romantic gestures, including playing music for her and hiding a ring in the cake. Still, each time, circumstances or overheard comments made him reconsider. Despite everything, their simple embrace at night's end means more than any grand gesture. The next morning, Wei-Yi calls Xiaoning, eager to hear about the previous night. Xiaoning is busy checking her exam results and is thrilled to discover she passed. However, back at work, Yuhui, in her usual snide manner, reminds Xiaoning that passing the exam is just the beginning. There's still a long way to go from developing clients to securing loans. To support Xiaoning, Rao Jing instructs Fanggong to hand over a few of his projects to her. Though reluctant, he complies, and Xiaoning, grateful for the support, assures everyone that she's already working on understanding her clients. Rao Jing's backing makes Yuhui uncomfortable. Later, Yuheng and Xiaoning meet on the rooftop, their secret hideaway. He congratulates her on passing her exam, and she playfully says she can't afford to embarrass him. She kisses him on the cheek, celebrating their little victory together. To mark her success, Xiaoning treats everyone to coffee, but Yuhui, continuing her act, declines, claiming to know Yuheng's preferences better than anyone, saying he only drinks Americanos. However, Yuheng arrives just in time, takes Xiaoning's coffee, and drinks it without hesitation, much to everyone's surprise. This act prompts whispers among their colleagues about how lucky Yuheng's future girlfriend will be. Back in the office, he asks Xiaoning if she needs help with her work, but she politely declines, determined to handle it independently. In the evening, as Xiaoning folds her clothes, he brings her a glass of warm milk. When he kisses her, he playfully reaches for her hand, discovering she's been hiding her lingerie behind her back, making Xiaoning blush with embarrassment. The next day, she updates Rao Jing on her client's progress, noting they'll travel for business on Wednesday. She also informs Yuheng, who reassures her to reach out if she needs anything. Soon, Xiaoning and Rao Jing arrive at Shihai town. Yuheng keeps sending messages, making Xiaoning smile. Yu Heng receives a file from a subordinate, and Xiaoning sends him photos of the seaside scenery. Unexpectedly, Yu Hui appears in Shihai town, openly competing with Xiaoning for clients. Realizing the competition, she knows she must rely on her skills to succeed. After securing the client's room, Xiaoning hands it over to Rao Jing, who advises her to review the details thoroughly. Xiaoning, determined, heads to the site to meet the client, Mr. Yang, but only the financial manager shows up, with Yu Hui seizing the opportunity to make a move. Xiaoning holds back her proposal, keeping it as her trump card, which Rao Jing later praises as a smart move. Yu Heng is working late. He tries on a new shirt his mother bought him, but it's too large, making his mother feel guilty and prompting him to his room. Xiaoning calls Yu Heng after Rao Jing leaves their hotel room. As they chat, Xiaoning updates him on her day, but when Yu Heng changes into his pajamas, Xiaoning catches a glimpse of his chest muscles, blushing and hastily ends the call. Shortly after, Xiaoning receives a package, an unsolicited delivery of sleepwear. To her surprise, it's a gift from Yu Heng, who had planned it. The next day, she attempts to meet with Mr. Yang, but he repeatedly dodges her calls. Rao Jing advises Xiaoning to cut her losses, revealing that Mr. Yang's son is friends with Yu Hui's classmate, explaining Yu Hui's relentless pursuit of the client. Yu Hui tries to persuade Rao Jing to mentor her, but Rao Jing sarcastically dismisses her, refusing to commit. Disheartened, Xiaoning calls Wei, doubting herself after the day's setbacks. However, when Wei sees Qi Yu approaching while they're out shopping, she quickly ends the call. Feeling lonely and missing Yu Heng, Xiaoning is overwhelmed with emotion when he suddenly appears in front of her. She runs to him, tears streaming down her face, and embraces him tightly. Yu Heng, knowing how much she needed comfort, brought all her favorite snacks, showing his care. Meanwhile, Yu Heng's mother continues to live with Xiaoning's parents, giving Yu Heng more time to be with Xiaoning. Xiaoning expresses her frustration about being unable to meet Mr. Yang, feeling defeated, but insists on securing the deal on her own merits rather than relying on Yu Heng's influence. He reassures her with a kiss, but their intimate moment is interrupted by a call from Rao Jing, prompting Xiaoning to return to her room. As Xiaoning listens to Rao Jing, she suddenly remembers that Mr. Yang enjoys fishing and quickly texts Ji about planning a fishing trip the next day to meet him. The next day, they board a boat, where Yu Heng teaches her how to fish. Xiaoning feels a tug on her fishing rod, and Ji helps her reel in the catch. Ji, always resourceful, even offers to teach her a trick to catch yellow croakers with an empty hook. Impressing Xiaoning with his versatility, he encourages her to be confident, and soon enough, Xiaoning successfully catches a fish, drawing attention from the other fishers. Fang Gong tries to convince Rao Jing to join him for a walk, but she refuses, leaving him to follow her stubbornly. As they walk through a small path, Fang Gong gets lost, and after stumbling into a house, he realizes he has wandered into Rao Jing's home, where he finds 2 gravestones. Scared, Fang Gong quickly apologizes, only to be startled by someone tapping his shoulder. It turns out to be Rao Jing, who explains that he has found his way to her house. The next morning, Xiaoning sets out to fish in earnest, and as planned, she encounters Mr. Yang. She candidly explains that her fishing trip was a calculated move to discuss her proposal with him directly. Meanwhile, Yu Hui anxiously waits to sign the contract, unaware Mr. Yang has already reviewed Xiaoning's proposal. Despite offering high interest rates, Xiaoning cleverly suggests a long-term loan solution tailored to Mr. Yang's needs, impressing him with her strategy. Mr. Yang also compliments her fishing skills. Fang Gong later learns that Xiaoning has been with Mr. Yang all along, and Yu Hui is nowhere to be found. Xiaoning receives a call from Yu Heng and quickly excuses herself to return to her room, but she's sneaking away to meet him. Once there, Yu Heng tenderly caresses her, and as Xiaoning closes her eyes, he kisses her neck. However, Xiaoning suddenly feels hungry, and he takes her out to eat. Meanwhile, Fang Gong orders a large meal and insists Rao Jing pays, sparking yet another argument between them. Frustrated, Rao Jing leaves with Fang Gong trailing behind her. Yu Heng and Xiaoning spot Fang Gong and hide to avoid being seen. Xiaoning receives a message from Mr. Yang, asking to discuss the loan details the next day. Overjoyed, she runs back to hug Yu Heng, sharing the good news. The following day, Xiaoning and Rao Jing sign the contract with Mr. Yang. When Fang Gong wakes up with a headache, he's surprised to see Yu Heng walk into his room, making him doubt his memory. Just then, Xiaoning and Rao Jing return, and he mentions seeing Yu Heng, but Xiaoning quickly changes the subject. Later that night, waiting for Rao Jing to fall asleep, Xiaoning texts Yu Heng, explaining how they almost got caught by Fang Gong. She sneaks out to meet Yu Heng. He pulled her into the room. They share a passionate kiss. After their sweet moment, Xiaoning clings to Yu Heng and turns off the lights, wanting to stay closer to him.